Alrighty, let me pull it up. And here we go.
All right, Jack. So, what do you think is going to be the difference for bans and picks this time?
Um, Honestly, I don't. These teams are playing their own games. I like to see some respect bans based on the previous two games we've seen, based on the strengths. I like the Anivia ban. Maybe even ban the Diana now that they picked it twice. They seem to rely on it.
Yeah, it seems like it's a definite calling point for Sustain. I don't know, again, if it was anything whatsoever to really be noteworthy of a ban, because we saw that it had no effect in game one whatsoever, but that was just a much more controlled, overall better game for, I think, BSU, honestly.
Yeah.
Ignorant thralls.
Ooh, but they do decide to ban it.
Yep, there's the Diana ban.
It's good respect, but
brush off my shoulder. Brush off my shoulder.
It's going to be a lot of questions as to what exactly BSU is going to look for the first pick, honestly. They can either go for an ADC, or they can go look for a support, or they're going to look for a jungle here, because, again, they're banning all these different things away, and they're looking to go for these things. Are they going to ban a LeBlanc here to take away from chemicals again? We'll have to see.
Yeah. Okay, and I like the top lane bully bans, too. I wonder if this is posturing for a Yasuo pick again.
Yeah, it's very strange because, again, they could be leaving up like this Jarvan per se along with the Galio pick if they wanted to go for it. It just kind of depends on, again, what BSU want to look for this first rotation. But honestly, because of how volatile the back and forth have been and how many picks and bans have gone into support as well as the bot lane,
right.
8 bans in total last game by itself out of 10, I would say they definitely have to look for either going an ADC or they have to look to go for another pick as well here, basically for support. So I'd be surprised if they get, it should be Lulu right here, and then allow IUK to pick up an ADC and a support or a jungle as well in response. And then
that Lulu was absolutely nuts that first game. I'd like to see a little bit more of it, but they seem to be straying away from the good Lord's Ardent Censor and into the heart of Engage.
Yeah, this makes again, it's justifiable. Spartan did not look comfortable whatsoever on Elise. It didn't look like a good idea, and so instead of allowing Darude in order to take the Jarvan, or instead letting a Sustain and get the Jarvan, they're just going to take it themselves, and they say, okay, we're going to give up Lulu, we're going to give up probably something else here, basically is well made, whether it's an ADC or whether it's something else, but instead they decide to go for an Alawi. So
the Alawi. Holy moly, they said we're going to ban some, maybe of Alawi's counters in the form of Darius and Renekton, but we're going to pick this incredible lane bully. I have not seen an Alawi in a game, let alone in a competitive 5v5 for so long. IUK Como. Always bringing the memes.
Definitely been a long time since I've seen anything whatsoever come in from this weird sort of Alawi type champion, but I can understand, maybe that's just something that they happen to play a lot, and that's what they want to go for.
Yeah. There's
but
the Azir.
We see Azir comes in.
It's the beginnings of their Game 1 comp.
And I'm really hoping.
They gotta ban Lulu.
I think that Lulu.
Or if it doesn't get picked here.
I think they gotta pick Lulu here. I think that would be.
It's between Lulu and Galio, I think.
I don't think that they can pick Galio here. Yeah, it's Galio's good normally when a Jarvan, but the problem is that if you leave Alawi as well, and Alawi is just gonna bully the heck out of Galio, you're not gonna have that good back and forth. Whereas before, when they had that AP damage versus a Galio, it wasn't that big.
Alrighty, this is interesting. Wow, the mid lane pick comes out. It's Vel'Koz looking for the giant teamfight presence to follow up on that Sejuani with the laser. I think Vel'Koz is pretty good right now. I had a fun game on him yesterday, actually, and it's always surprising how when you're feeling good on Vel'Koz, you feel like you're doing more damage than everybody times 3.
Right.
Oh yeah, I can tell you without a doubt here whatsoever, one of my main champions. You can look it up on my op.g is Vel'Koz himself. So I'm a big fan of Vel'Koz. All of my emotes are Vel'Koz. Without a doubt, it is one of my favorite champions up there right now to play. You can, you can definitely be able to outplay the opponents without them even knowing what exactly happened. It's one of those things where you can do so much amount of damage looking for these team fights, but the problem is you're not going to have a lot of peel. And so I'm going to look for IUK to bring in something here that is going to be very helpful for them, because we see they take away the Leona, they take away the Alistar.
Yeah.
There's no Janna, there's no Nami. What's going to be left up? There's no Lulu as well.
No.
There's going to be a lot of things left over, if either Sona, or it's going to be Taric, or maybe it's going to be something else here, or maybe it's a Vel'Koz support. Who knows?
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I will say that Vel'Koz has pretty good peel against somebody like Jarvan, because that flag is so telegraphed and the animation is so long. The Vel'Koz only has to put an E right on top of the flag, and it'll time perfectly if the Jarvan immediately drags. And then you get the knockback on your Q, and you've escaped the first two parts of the combo. Now, you could still get ulted, so if the Jarvan is very far ahead, you're still screwed, but there are options for Vel'Koz against this team comp. Maybe not against the Maokai and Jarvan, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder, especially when you have a Maokai, a Jarvan, and a Zir coming at your face with a Vel'Koz. I would definitely expect him to either run Cleanse here or go Barrier, just be able to try and live as long as possible, basically. Because we see that, you know, Tristana, again, mind you, we haven't seen Tristana at all because BSU has banned it in both games prior to this as well. So now, finally, we're going to be able to see Pseudo's Tristana come through, as well as a Karma coming in from Ragnarok, who can happen to go that Ardent Sensor build as well. We could be able to see a better team fight here. Again, yeah. I'm not really impressed by Godsave's pick for Sivir. It doesn't fit the composition here. Again, something like a Twitch, something like a Kog'Maw protecting that sort of carry basically makes a much better sense. Not going for Sivir. Yeah, you're still going to be able to fight in the late game, but Tristana's just going to do a lot more damage.
Yeah, I mostly agree with you. I sort of like and see the logic of the Sivir pick in that Jarvan and Maokai want to be sped up so that they can keep up with the Karma speed. They want to be able to have their engage tools be reliable. Same thing with Azir, maybe going for a Shurima shuffle. And Sivir's spell shield is going to be potentially very, very valuable against the Sejuani popping out of nowhere and trying to ult you. But I will agree with you in the form of Tristana and Karma both do more damage for more lengths of the game, and they do more damage in lane unless the Lulu is incredibly, incredibly aggressive and accurate. So it's going to rely a lot on that bot lane matchup to see which AD carry is going to be able to support their team the best or pop off.
Yeah, and the problem with Lulu now especially is that you don't even max Q at all. You max E and then you max W second.
What about an Ignite Lulu?
That could be very possible, and if Drawher is going to go for it, I'd be very surprised, because that's not something that I would want to see personally for my Lulu. I would still want to see the barrier heal coming in, you know, to try and live as long as you possibly can, versus a Sejuani, versus a Tristana, especially versus Malawi. And if Azir doesn't have to build, I know that he probably will, but I would like to see an Amarilla Namicon and Sivir coming in for also an Executioner's Calling to just stop Malawi from healing any little bit of what she can do. Because of people, they don't realize that, you know, Alawi's biggest counter is not allowing her to heal.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Man, the Azir Vel'Koz matchup I feel like we haven't seen in like a year and a half. I definitely haven't seen it with the new Azir. He has the cleanse, which will prevent Sejuani, like you said, from setting up those just free ganks where Vel'Koz will get his full combo. Vel'Koz loves having reliable CC on his team, and it's actually, there isn't too much of that on the side of IUK. Karma has to invest so much to get that root down, and Vel'Koz is going to have to use his geometry, use his A squared plus B squared equals C squared to get these plays off.
So the funny part about that, actually, is that it is not actually the Pythagorean theorem. It's very surprising. I know.
It is a slight angle on it? It's not a right angle?
Someone, I know, I can find the Reddit post, but on the Reddit post they were saying how the angles, it was like less than 90 degrees, and so because it's not an actual 90-degree triangle, you can't do the Pythagorean theorem on it whatsoever. And I was like, there was like, they did all this math for it, and I was so surprised, and I was like, I love this as a person that likes statistics and math and you know, being a Vel'Koz main, but at the same time, I'm just like, I would not be able to do it whatsoever.
Yeah. Alrighty. We're getting prepared to go into a game as the spectator delay finally catches up.
All right. So thoughts on your overall advantage? Who do you think is going to cash in? Who do you think is going to take away this game 3? Who do you think is going to be winless? And who's going to continue? Or sorry, who's going to continue to be winless? And who is going to finally take the W home?
Well,
all the questions for one answer.
yeah. Let's give it to. I'll just say these guys are. This is a toss-up. I'm gonna give it to BSU. I think that the second game was a fluke. I think BSU kind of trolled in that second game, and IUK just had clearly the better composition. And so now with more even compositions, I think BSU is in place to win.
Yeah, I think that BSU also, they have 3 of the same winning champions that they had from before on game 1. If they can overall just kind of dial it back a little bit, go for what they need to, basically, it makes a lot more sense overall. But if you go for IUK, they do happen to have good duelists coming in from Malawi. They have a good lockdown coming in from Sejuani, a great amount of damage coming in from Vel'Koz, as well as Tristana, and then somewhat of a peel, but also sort of a shielding, basically coming in from Karma as well. I see now why Draher probably on the first game had also having to go for Stealthy's Edge. He was running Thunderlords and Ignite,
Right.
and he just wants to pop that out as much as possible.
Right.
But again, I bring up the case, and I know I agree with you, they may not have been in lane as much, they were just shoving in, blah, blah, blah. But I still think that going for Windspeaker's Blessing as well as going for Barrier Heal it's meta, it makes a lot more sense. People in Worlds are picking it, people in other ASL competitions are picking it. It works much better here for MWAC, especially.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, but I also like. There's a concept of what the meta is, and I'm not always sure that it fits all the way down all skill levels. So the meta matters. The meta is what is true about the game, but the players are still ultimately the ones who are taking on the Rift and who have to make those decisions. And Draher might just be better than Ragnarok, and the best way to abuse that advantage is not necessarily through the meta option, but through just raw strength. Now, if he's not, then he's just made the wrong pick, right? But he's making that gamble. Up, and we have immediately a pause. Looking grim.
Yeah, and this is the part where now we sit and wait for about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, get the music rolling
never
again.
mind. Maybe they say ready. We're good. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't look at the chat because otherwise it would show up on. So you're gonna have to tell me what they're saying.
They say ready, and then there's been nothing so far.
Damn. All right, let's see what I got. I'll put on some tunes for the people. Oh.
Just in case.
And here we go, back into it.
Yeah, honestly though, I wanna believe in Kokomo. I wanna believe in this Vel'Koz. I wanna believe in seeing Pseudo's Tristana. Because Pseudo did a great job with Twitch last time. It wasn't the best mechanicals that I've ever seen in Twitch.
But he was in the right place at the right time. Yeah.
Yep, and he knew exactly what the strengths of his champions were.
Alright, let's see if they can pull it off. Pseudo leading the charge in the last game, able to follow up over and over and over again on his team's wombo combo tendencies. This time, he's going to have a little bit less to work with through the spell shield and the cleanse, and there's another pause. But that's okay. Alrighty. What's going on? You gotta give us the report.
There is woof woof Dave bark for me please. Nasus woof woof bark. ADC lag. That is what we have so far. And they're back on and ready again.
Welcome to Collegiate Esports. These guys are definitely amateurs. They are learning. And professionalism, obviously not at the the highest of all of our... Actually, I have no idea. In the real League games, it's possible that this is going on behind the scenes and Riot just hides it from us.
Oh, yeah. So they normally do. If we happen to see the pause, then it's fine. But unfortunately, as well, sometimes now they've gotten better. They know exactly what they're going to be focusing on. They know that a pause is coming up soon. So what they do is they throw to the casters to talk a little bit more before play continue.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if the pro players are saying shit like the cow goes bark and the dog goes crack. Or quack, rather.
No, they are actually not allowed to talk whatsoever during any sort of thing. Yep, you are not allowed to talk during pauses, unless it is with the actual judge or the referee themselves, basically. I remember this specifically because there was a game that was redone because someone talked during a pause, basically.
Resident Sleeper.
Resident Sleeper. Who knew?
No invade coming through. Everybody being nice and chill.
Yeah. Standard lines, they know exactly where people are starting. BSU has warded the red buff against IUK, so they know that he's probably going to be starting blue buff, so they're starting blue buff instead so that a wonderful 3 gank bottom can occur for BSU.
Yeah. And that Alawi setting up her tentacles. The Heimerdinger of top lane, if it's not Heimerdinger himself.
Of melees.
Yeah, the Heimerdinger of melee is probably a better way to put it. Because you could take Heimer top if you want.
Yeah, it's a very, very unlucky thing to go against, honestly, especially if you're melee.
Yeah.
Just, what are you supposed to do against that? Like, there's just nothing.
I am unsure about what's in Ilawi's kit that allows her to kill tanks. Is her E a tank shredder?
If I remember correctly, it's an empowered, so if she's, normally Alawi goes is Deathfire Grasp, or Grasp of the Undying, or sorry, Deathfire Touch or Grasp of the Undying, in order to either sustain longer or the E proc with the Deathfire. But if I remember correctly, it's the E, they max E first because it just does like max percentage HP or something.
Yeah. And we're really not seeing too much aggression from Draher right quite yet. I'd expect him to be way, way up in that Karma's face, autoing, queuing whenever he possibly can, given that he's running the Thunderlord's Ignite.
Yeah, this would have been a better idea, actually, if they had gone more passive to allow the Jarvan to come back in for that gank that they're looking for. But it is what it is, so...
It is what it is.
Yes, so you were right. The Test of Spirit targets the maximum target's current health, doing 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45, plus 8% for 180.
Okay. It's not the most reliable thing because that skill shot is so slow and it's easy for Maokai to W it, but
yeah,
Ilawi's definitely going to have to get ahead, get her cleaver started to be able to fight that Maokai.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, wow, that is a schizophrenic camera. Things are going mostly even. And the gank is going through in the top lane. Ooh, Overton. Trying not to get stunned here, but it does go through, and they eat his soul. They're just going to be able to get that nice, easy, quick damage on him, force him under his turret. And they get his flash as well.
Yeah, he was kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place just because if he walked back and tried to dodge the W, he'd walk back towards a wonderful little auto attack coming through. And if he didn't have it to do that, then he'd stand forward and get knocked by the W.
Oh, but here, same story, different jungler, and now it's Overton who's on his own. Oh, sorry, Darude who's on his own. Yeah, Overton with the fan. But there's Zestine coming in. Is Darude going to be able to live through it? She actually gets first blood. It's Alawi surviving everything. God! Finally showing up for IUK combo as now Loveck trying to make something happen for BSU, but he immediately gets knocked back by that EQ from Chemicals. That was such a close call to that Alawi. The little bit of health regeneration off of her Q, off of her tentacles, was just enough to keep her alive and the possibly dangerous game after that kill.
Yeah, it's such a risky call from BSU in order to go back forward. That again, if you get the flash, take the flash, back off, come back again. You know Sejuani was just there. You're now there 30 seconds later. Basically, Sejuani is still going to be in the area, and luckily she was basically just so to come through and save Darude's life. What a god!
Darude was very close to dying before the Sejuani showed up. So the
Correct.
idea of the gank was good, but there was a point where it had just taken so long that they had to acknowledge that it wasn't going to go through all the way.
Yeah, and we can see even just with the trade right there, Maokai does his WQ, doesn't throw an E basically combo, but we see Darude is not taking any damage whatsoever, where Maokai got about, 20% of his current health gone, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And in the bot lane, you see an enormous lead for this Sivir over Tristana. The lane bullying of Lulu, even though it hasn't affected the health bars, the threat has definitely pushed Pseudo rather, and Ragnarok under turret. Alright, more fights. Ooh, that grasp of the Undying, keeping Darude so healthy in this lane, and with the red. He's not really able to auto-attack Overton too much because of them both being melee and the lane being pushed up, but it's still very helpful. And look at God Save. This is looking like game 1 where the tower was very, now it was actually down at 5 minutes at this point, but this is about as close to that as you could expect with actual normal team comps.
Yeah, Tristana is just such a hard person to really try and lane against, or sorry, it's hard to really get a lot of CS against, it seems. And especially when it comes to Karma as well.
Oh wow, everybody going in on Spartan right now. There comes the big Q from Karma, and it blows up, but it's Lulu coming through with a kill, and Pseudo now stuck between 3 members of BSU who are now turning on Ragnarok, trying to clean up this Karma, who almost took the triple herself. Draher does go down in the fight, though, but for Zudo and Zestain, that's worth.
Yeah, I think that was a good trade overall. Again, Spartan is living with just a little bit of health coming through for himself as well. It's just such a back and forth game overall, and I don't even know why Tristana W'd over for that. She still had flash.
Yeah, that was very, very aggressive. They got very excited when the Karma got the triple empowered Q rather. That was really, really, really strong, but it wasn't quite enough.
All 3 members.
Yeah, you gotta kind of feel for BSU.
DC
oh my god. They're gonna kill him.
I think this is a DC, and they didn't pause.
Yikes.
Big yikes coming through. Holy snap.
That's a little BM.
Well, I think Lovelock honestly gave him a lot of time, and no one called anything.
He's like, am I being baited? Is this real?
I think we all got baited and outsmarted a little bit ourselves.
Damn.
Well, so far nothing coming through. They're not really saying anything. No sorts of updates, basically. Looks like he DC'd. He was having a little bit of connection issues in the first part, so it does make sense that this was happening.
Yep. Let's take a look at the gold, though. Are we allowed to? No, even we're paused. We can't do anything.
Oh, I can look at the gold, actually. What would you like to know, Jackzilla? Tell me all of your concerns.
I want to know how... Well, I can kind of figure it out from the CS and the kills, but how exactly far ahead is Sivir over Tristana?
Alright, Sivir is 400 gold over Tristana.
Right, and
sitting
with
at
the
1 kill, 1 assist, a little bit more CS coming through, basically. Definitely sitting at a good little lead. Not too much, but enough. Maybe, maybe she'll go back, she'll get a Brawler's Glove, but instead she went for a Longsword, so...
Yeah, and with the first blood turret coming pretty soon in that bot lane, barring any kind of big turnaround, I would expect
and
that
possibly with the dragons.
Yeah, that could be up to like an 800 gold lead from that 400.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot further, especially if they can get the solo gold onto Sivir. Now, where they are returning in fire, though, Alawi is sitting at a nice 600 gold lead over Maokai. Same CS, but the 2 kill difference is just making up for that all the way.
Yeah. I definitely think that the the Alawi isn't bullying the Maokai as hard as I thought she would. Even though the Maokai has pretty much no items, the Alawi has chosen to start with that Kindle Gem and the MR, so she's just trying to CS and get to the point where once Maokai leaves the lane, she'll be able to push up and become the true monster that she might become.
Yeah, it's very surprising that she didn't happen to go for like a Phage here, or starting to go into like a Black Cleaver per se, basically, just because that's a better idea. But we saw this last game as well when Darude was going on to Jarvan. He decided to go for Giant Spell into then going for a wonderful Chain Vest and then a Ruby Crystal as his first 3-item starts. So
yeah. Looks like bot lane is gonna be sticking around. They say, hey, we're winning. Why stop?
Yeah, but to answer your question, actually, to kind of revert a little bit back, Lowy's not going to be able to bully out Maokai a lot just because she's a spellcaster, she may be a melee person, she relies on her auto attacks, but she likes using her spells, and so the more spells that she uses, then the smaller the cooldown is for Maokai's passive, so he's able to regen and heal up a little bit more, plus he also is sitting on a corrupting potion and a Doran shield, so any health he's getting back, he's getting back a lot every few seconds or so. He's already popped 2 of those 3, and he has 1 more left, basically, but he can still...
jumping in on the Vel'Koz, who actually is surprised by that EQ into ult. Jarvan respecting that Vel'Koz does have a little self-heal and goes straight for the ult.
Yeah, this could be a return fight, honestly, back and forth between them. We see the flash...
Yeah, Sejuani with the turnaround. Oh, wow, the big ult comes out from going for the Lodbok, but it's just a peeling ult, just a zoning ult, trying to keep Zestain alive.
Yeah, that wasn't the best combo wombo that you're looking for there. Should have gone for a Q, then W. But
yeah.
They do what they can, and Spartan is just trying to go back and forth over this. He might go down here.
Yeah, that was incredibly, incredibly close. Just a bunch of plays going through, trying to stop BSU from taking too much advantage of this bot lane persistency, but it doesn't actually work. I think that, well, it does work, rather. That was the plan for BSU, was to prevent Chemicals, to prevent Zestain from being able to roam bot as they take that tower. So, well played from Ball State.
Yeah, we see that Tudo is now sitting, he's very much down compared to the overall idea that what he was starting out with at first. Just because of the fact that, Tristana was banned twice. We would think that it would be banned away again, and why it was not banned away this time.
This fight in the top lane, Overton, now he's against the full might of all of these tentacles, but slowly and surely he is picking down on Darude, who keeps on fighting. The flash comes through. Ooh. It's a little bit too little as the healing from Alawi manages to save her life, but Overton happy to have this advantage now. As
he should have waited to flash Q there, unfortunately. He Q'd before, wasn't secure, knew the flash was going to come out, so that was able to go away. But it is a smart idea because he has gone for this Bramble Vest buy, which is not allowed. Again, Alawi can't heal when she doesn't have that previous wounds on her.
And what happened to this Alawi? What happened to Darude that he was able to get the godlike outplay to get 2 kills, and then suddenly his whole team is dying all across the map?
Yeah, I think that it just, again, it deals with what you were starting with, the build. The Kindle Gem is not going to help you whatsoever. You're not going to be able to pressure the Maokai. He didn't actually try to freeze the waves properly, and so Maokai was just sitting there able to CS and keep up with the CS, now having more, basically, than what Darude was going for. And with that, again, you're not respecting the brand.
Here comes Zestain trying to get a quick kill on Lodbok, but Lodbok just ults. Oh, the last turret shot. He was a little bit too late. Yeah, the damage that was dealt by the soldiers actually betrayed him, taking a turret shot in the process, and there goes Spartan as well. One last guy, God saved, is being attacked, but Draher ults himself to try to prevent this. It's a Maokai, the big kitty Overton, coming in on Ragnarok as Darude TP's in, trying to find the tentacles on God save Draher and Overton, but he doesn't find anybody, just holding the lane steady. As Vel'Koz comes to the rescue, he has his ult. Going for the E equals MC squared. There's the geometry. Not quite. I'm going to keep calling it the Pythagorean, even though, as we've discussed, secret trivia, that is not exactly what it is. You can't take my A squared plus B squared equals C squared memes away from me. It's the most fun thing to type in all chat.
Oh, without a doubt. So we're sitting at the same amount of kills, sitting at the same amount of deaths.
Sitting at a dock on the bay. Yeah, this is the closest game we've had yet.
Sitting at a dock on the bay, sipping on some wonderful blueberry lemonade. You know what I mean? And we're coming through. We have a 3K gold lead coming in from BSU. So where exactly is the difference is going to be? You know, we know it's the 2 towers, but is this enough? You know, we've seen that Alawi can't 1v1 a Maokai already.
Yeah, even with the most advantage you could possibly ask for. I believe that Ball State University's composition is fundamentally stronger at this point in the game, and that with the Ardent Sivir, that advantage will continue. And if they take this next tower, that's going to be the real test of their macro, because in the last game they also came up to a screaming early lead that then collapsed.
Yeah, and there's not going to be a lot that they can be able to do with Alawi as a team fight because they have to really get into those short
Here's the
zones.
engage. He gets 4 almost. That's 3 enough. And the Lulu ult for the knockup. Here comes Maokai to root everybody down. This is an incredible engage from Ball State as they are able to catch 2 of IUK Coma with barely anybody hurt too badly. Only Spartan and Draher have to play any kind of defensively as they turn towards the Rift Herald.
And that was a great call from BSU to look for an engage there. Again, the Spartan, he's just living with so much life. He might as well just be called Master Chief right now because he's coming out of these fights bruised and hurt, but is still living and going on.
He's regenerating his shields every single time. He's finding the health packs.
He's finding that blinking red light going off in his head. You know, who's... Oh. I don't even know anymore.
I have deep nostalgia for that sound effect of the red lights.
Oh, without a doubt. It just gives me night terrors.
Yeah.
That
almost as many night terrors as the sound of a plasma grenade stuck to you.
Oh, no.
There is no greater moment of self-reflection on the impermanence of life, the inevitability of death, as those last seconds as the plasma grenade warms up. That being said,
that 3K gold lead has now gone to 5K gold lead within 2 minutes.
But they threw a 5K gold lead before.
That's true. We have seen that, but that was, I would say, with an arguably better late game composition.
Or with a worse
Azir coming through.
With a worse late game. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Exactly. You knew exactly what I meant. But we see a better composition coming for BSU compared to last time. I don't think, personally, I'm really hoping, and I'm not going to be wrong here, but I could be. I don't think that BSU could be able to throw this lead now that they have it with this kind of composition. If they do, I'll be surprised.
Let me tell you the story of how they lose this game. It's very simple.
Please do.
It's 2 steps. They kill Pseudo, Ragnarok, and Darude. They get greedy. They go for Baron. When Zestine and Chemicals are alive, they get Sejuani ulted and Chemicals lasers everybody down in the late game. Ooh. That is the only path I can see, is like a crazy 4-man laser after BSU gets cocky. But other than that, I agree with you. This is an incredibly difficult comp to fight against.
Yeah, and Jarvan still has ultimate here. Karma's gonna have to flash
out.
Oh
wow, he manages to get that W through, and it's a root on both of them, even through the jump, as Azir now runs away in the top lane, back to the safety of his turret. This is an easy outplay. Zestine goes down. Darude gets the ult off, but it doesn't matter. It's a double kill for Ladvak as he annihilates Darude and Zestine. And the Rift Herald is summoned to help BSU continue this going forward.
Yeah, that is not a good thing whatsoever when we see that Darude, again, with such an early easy start, basically, is not going to be able to clean up and can't even fight the Azir. Now we're seeing that they can't even do a 2v1 against Azir, and we see that bot lane is just getting crushed over and over again.
Yeah, we saw him get a 2-0 start, and since then he has gotten down in CS, down in kills, given up 2 kills.
Just bounced 4 times there.
Yeah, this is definitely the bounce house from BSU. They're low-key just destroying this game. This is, I think, a more impressive showing even than Game 1, because Game 1 was against a objectively troll composition, and this game is against not the best composition, but a fundamentally, like, sensible one. And they're still crushing.
A much better idea as to what was happening beforehand. However, we're still seeing, I don't understand the Alawi. Vel'Koz pick, I know there was a DC issue, but it's still not really warranting why it was being picked in the first place. And we see, again, Tristana, we saw it banned twice. I don't think that they should have even banned in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call here. I'm gonna slap my hand down and say nope. There was no reason.
Pseudo is a lie. Yeah. The pseudo Tristana
Pseudo
is not that good.
That is a pseudo Tristana. Right you are. Right you are. Well, I think this is going to be a rinse and repeat. I think Jarvan with a wonderful warrior enchantment as well as a Hydra coming in as well. A Maokai that is much tankier than the overall Alawi. This just seems like the nail in the coffin is slowly being hammered in for IUK Kokomo.
Yeah, and they're happy to nail it in. These are
Kokomo.
jolly morticians.
Yeah. Can't live without their memes and their dreams, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Spartan now going in on Zestine. Zestine having a really rough game at 1-4-3. Excellent kill participation, but if you're dying every time, it's not the best look as the team gets lit up by that Sivir ulti, trying to run down Zestine. There's the Lulu ult, and wow, Spartan getting all that attack speed thrown in on him.
There's a lot coming in through.
Look at Spartan! Spartan is going in, no fear at all!
Oh, the Maokai finishing off the Sejuani.
Yeah, that's Overton, Lodbach, Draher, God Save, Spartan. Everybody is alive and everybody is coming for the Nexus turrets. As Zestine and Darude once again a combined 3, 8, and 3. Really struggling to stay in this game. This is looking like the end. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think this is another 19-minute win coming in for Ball State University.
Yeah.
They played a really good game overall. It was much cleaner than the second game. They did a lot better in their composition.
As clean as the first game, pretty much.
That's how it is. I think they did a lot better, and then maybe they could end it before they actually ended the other one.
Yeah, they're just trying to pad their stats right now. That's a double kill for the Azir. Oh, is Sivir going to be able to survive? Nah, popped by Tristana the last second. It's just Azir, it's just Draher, the mid laner, and the support showing up to finish off this series and give BSU their first set win of the Midwestern Esports Conference.